Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Cultivation Corner. I am Janae.
And I'm Steve. What's going on, y'all?
We are so excited, Steve.
Yeah,
So, we don't just have amazing Ronald here, but Ronald, just a little backstory if anyone doesn't know, he was actually one of our first Cultivation Corner subscribers,
That's
followers
right.
who met us.
That's right.
Actually, at Plant Keeper in Dallas. That
That's
was
right. In the
over a year
parking lot.
ago.
It was in the parking
Yes.
lot, and I was also sweaty, and I was like, "Yeah, apologizing profusely." And I was like, "Yo, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I remember this, but I was so excited."
It was a hot day anyway.
It was.
Like,
It was.
come on. It was like
Like a high 90, you know, typical 90.
You know, here we are chilling outside
Right.
in the parking lot talking, sweat beads coming down.
Yeah.
Literally. And then I don't know whose bright idea it was. It might have been Janae's that we were gonna take a picture.
Oh, of course.
That's
That
right.
was me.
and I
Guilty.
remember this picture, and I was like, "Wow, that was a choice. That was a choice."
I'm going to have to find it and put it here.
No,
right
no,
here.
Are we gonna put it right there?
Yes, right here.
What's going on, man? It's so good to have you here.
Yes,
man. You know,
we're
you bring so much
excited.
joy and all that stuff. So it's just a pleasure to have you just in the corner with us, just chatting away and talking about what we do.
So
you know?
before we dive in, I guess just tell the people who you are, what you do, and a little bit about Trop House. What is it?
So first and foremost, thank you for having me.
You got it. You got it.
I'm actually kind of like, oh, what do you want to learn from me? Like, I'm nothing. So,
We got a lot to
this
learn
is-
from
We have
you.
a
like, this
lot
is
to
ex-
learn.
This is pretty exciting and different for me.
Yeah.
So I'm Ronald, and y'all know this. I am a geek on the neurodivergent spectrum who just tends to gravitate towards plants.
Yeah.
And plants are something that gives me a life lesson pretty much daily.
Yeah.
And so I think probably got into like for real collecting somewhere around the 2022
Okay.
mark. But I've always loved plants, and I always find myself gravitating toward, everyone gravitates toward, well, most people gravitate towards flowers and things when you see things. But I love coast. I love things along the coast, and things grow differently there. So when you see things on islands, or on like in South Florida, in the Everglades, things like that, you tend to find your way to appreciation. And my appreciation turned to this thing where it was like, I think I'll buy a plant. And now
How many numbers?
Right. How many plants later?
we're not gonna go there. That is choosing violence on
50,
this
75.
Oh, we in the
250.
3 digits.
Wait, more than 250?
Wait, more than 250?
Ronald.
Really?
That's awesome. 3.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, yeah.
So because I grow things,
Right.
so I grow a lot, and I grow things from small, and they're all cute and petite when they're small.
Yeah.
Right. Kind of like I was once upon a time. And then we grow and we get big and we take up space.
Yeah.
And so now we take up space, but I'm still growing things that are cute, small, and petite alongside these huge plants. And it's so crazy to me. It was literally just a hobby. And at heart, I'm still a hobbyist. I'm still a collector who just happens to love plants enough that I originally started verticulture with Manny, who y'all have met. Yeah, I think y'all met him at
Yes.
PlantCon.
Yep.
And Manny and I were both speaking nerd language to one another. And it was literally like friendship at first sight, because he was like, man, I would love to do this. And I was like, me too. And then literally months later, we had this big collection and we were at PlantCon.
Wow.
Showing.
Wait,
like, that's
months
how
later?
it goes.
Months later?
Yeah,
That's
we weren't even a
crazy.
year into it.
No way. That's a blessing.
Yeah.
It was. And, we had a lot of people that actually came to us and they were like, wait, so y'all not even a year old? We're like, nope.
Wow.
And then when we started selling people, like we had grown a majority of what we were selling from tissue culture that we produced. The reception was quite nice. So that was really amazing. So he and I are very good friends, and I support him. He supports me. But we decided that the best way to move forward was doing our own individual things so that we could move at the pace that we decide to
Yeah.
move. Because as
hear
you know,
that.
sometimes when you're in group settings or, when you're working alongside someone else, your circumstances are different and your goals tend to reflect circumstances.
Sure.
And so he was moving faster than I was, and I credit him. He pushed me forward faster than I was ready to go. But we're both very committed to what we do. So now we just have different ways of doing it. So I support him in his way and try to make sure that I show up for him the same way he shows up for me.
awesome.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
So,
it is.
so now I'm no longer a part of Virgil Culture. That's him. But I started Trop Haus as a result. And Trop Haus is my passion project, I guess, if you will.
I love that. Yeah.
First of all, the name, I love it.
I know.
Tell us the meaning or how you came about the name.
So here's the thing. I like to play on words. And I'm black kid from the hood. We all know a trap house.
Wait, I just got that.
Steve.
I did. Yo, why am I so slow? I'm up here looking at the spelling of the last word, and I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
that's clever, but
But it's like culture meets culture.
yeah,
The last word is
okay,
also
yeah.
culture, if you know. Yeah.
Like-
and so it was kind of one of those things where I was just like, trap house, trap
Yeah.
house. Like I'm trying to feed addiction. And I was sitting there and then
Trying to feed
literally
addiction.
had this whole conversation with two people who know who they are, where I was like, man, I could market myself this way and I could do this and like it would be cool and a t-shirt would look like this and I would make this. I had thought it all the way through. And I was excited about it. I was so excited. So yeah, that's how Trop House was born, was me getting nerdy and excited.
I love that.
And coming up with a name. And here I am with lots and lots of plants to take care of on a regular basis. And they hold me hostage and I love it.
There you go. I mean, so wait, so my apologies for just now getting the similarities between Trap House and Trap. Where have I been?
I mean, you were here.
But not
You
here.
might not have been
Not
there. Like right there at that moment.
I'm a little slow, but I'll catch up eventually. I swear to God.
You were
know what I
here.
mean?
We were here.
But I'm here now.
Right. Well, I'm sure you're not the other one. Like, I'm sure there are other people right now that are like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
When I
Well,
first saw it, I thought it said trap house. I was like, no, it doesn't. And I look, it's like trap house. Like, oh, I get it.
you got it immediately.
I'm
Jeez.
glad. Like if it's a 50-50 thing,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
okay with that.
But I'm on the ride now. I can tell you that because that is clever as hell. But listen, so with Trop House, what do you specialize in with Trop House?
So I'm an anthurium collector. I love anthuriums. A lot. Like a lot.
Opposite of me.
And when I first started collecting, they didn't love me very much.
That's
So
fine.
it was a learning process. But I do primarily anthurium and alocasias. Like those
Okay.
are my two things. And it's the things that most people are like swearing off a lot of the time.
Yes.
Like the most common collectors will
you're
literally
Just
swear
talking
off.
about allocation.
Yeah.
Talking about it right now.
And what's funny to me is they're the easiest for me to grow. Like I don't have a whole lot of issues. I never run into issues.
What's your secret?
Yeah.
Threaten them a little bit.
I thought you were supposed to talk nicely and sing. to
Yeah,
them.
That's cute.
So you can't curse them out. So I'm doing it all wrong.
Yeah,
Is that-
it's correct, basically. No, consistency.
Yeah.
So a lot of people who who aren't like, not that I put one above the other, but I'm a collector. So like I want to create the environment that they can grow in and like really enjoy them. And a lot of people are just hobby collectors, general collectors. And I
Yes.
think that a lot of the time, when you put something in ambient, especially if conditions aren't consistent, it's not that they have to be a specific way, but they do need consistency. So when it's inconsistent, so you might have, an AC vent blowing
Yeah.
on your plants, or
Yeah.
you might have any number of things, but if it's not consistent and they're constantly getting hot and then cold and then dry and then humid and then, all the time, they tend to decline and they tend to show it on their foliage and they're no longer beautiful. And then people are making, YouTube videos about how much they hate you.
I mean, how many videos do I have saying that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in that
here's the
club.
thing, I always look at it and Calatheus,
That's another one.
if I made videos on YouTube, Calatheus.
You don't like them.
Why? That's not even a real plant.
Why?
It's not even a real plant. It's not. I'm convinced it's
not
not a
real.
real plant. No.
It's just sent here to torture us, right?
It
No,
is.
it is.
was. No, it is. I'm sorry. I kid. I love all plants, and I love to look at calatheas and other people's collections.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when y'all show
No,
your
same.
beautiful aglaonemas and calatheas, I'm like,
yes.
oh, look at that. That's so nice on the TV.
Yeah, in
And
your
I-
home,
right,
in your
your
care.
home. Yeah. So.
Well, I got a question, right? Because you talk about ambient conditions. This is like sort of like the natural environment of your home.
Yeah.
That's what ambient means, right? So my question is, how do you keep it consistent, especially here in Dallas, where it could
Yeah.
get, in the summertime, it could get super high. And then we just had a winter storm, like what, 2 weeks ago? So
Yeah.
how do you keep that environment in your home consistent?
So for me, that's like one of the best questions I think you can ask. I think it's about knowing which plants can handle like the changes, because I have a lot growing in ambient, and I have no humidifier growing at all. And
We're
my-
That was my next
anthuriums. We're
question.
anthuriums
well,
and
here's the
allocations.
Yes.
thing. There's certain anthuriums that are perfectly fine with it.
Sure.
And then there are a lot that if I tried to even put it out there for a day, tomorrow I'd be like, where'd he go? Because it'd be gone.
Yeah.
So it just depends
Interesting.
on what you're growing. I don't grow a lot of my anthuriums, admittedly, in ambient. There are people that do, and that's great for them. It's just not something that I do.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of plants that do grow well in ambient. I have a lot of alocasias that do well in ambient. I have, monsteras. Monsteras are hardy. They are perfectly fine and happy wherever you put them,
Some of
as
them.
long as they have light.
Some of them.
Yes, light and airflow.
Leave Swiss Beats alone.
Yeah.
That's my plant. That's my personal plant that Janae is taking care of right
Yeah.
now.
And it's thriving. It's doing amazing.
But go ahead, I'm sorry.
You know
to
what? It will
interrupt.
thrive again at home.
Am I care? Am I care? You think so?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yes.
I know so.
We'll see about that.
Steve, I believe you got this.
Thank you. Thank you. I do
You
too.
got this.
I do too. I do too.
So yeah, but I mean, I have a lot that grows in ambient and does really well, and then there are certain things that nope, you're going in the tent. But I have big tent. My entire second bedroom is basically full greenhouse.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So
okay.
that room, the vents are closed off, and I control the climate in there. So that helps me to grow plants healthy in an environment that they like, if that makes sense.
It's really good.
Interesting. So or I don't know, like what percentage of your plants are in the greenhouse than out in the ambient?
So most of what I would sell, my entire personal collection is pretty much an ambient.
Okay.
And they are, I won't even say stepchildren because I'm the stepchild of somebody, right? But they love me through thick and thin, but there's a lot of thin. Because let me tell y'all, they get neglected. And sometimes I look and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry.
Let me get your water ready. Let me get your water ready.
Yeah, like, oh my God, you're hungry. Let me feed you something. I'm
Get
so
you some,
sorry.
let me get you some nutrients real
Okay.
quick. Let me fix you some
Stand
nutrients.
up. I did not raise you like this.
Stand up.
But also, that's typically when they're not being raised.
Yeah.
So, like that's I try really hard not to let it get to that point, but there are busy parts of the
Yes.
year where I'm like, I'm sorry, y'all, I'll be back tomorrow. But to like, stay alive until then, like, govern yourselves accordingly.
sure.
Like that's me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Happens at times like
Yeah,
that.
but most like a good, I'll say 80% of what I would sell or consider inventory. It's really weird calling plants inventory because they're all my children and I don't want to sell any of them. But they all grow in the tent.
Okay.
So
And then when you say, you grow your plants, so you do both tissue culture and import and seeds. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So tissue culture is pretty much where like my collection grew, because as we know, rare plant market is you can spend a lot of money on plants. You can spend a lot of money on plants.
That you don't have.
Exactly. A
And
lot.
so being introduced to tissue culture and learning how to properly acclimate tissue culture and learning the things that most people overcomplicate, to be honest with you, made things easier for me. And so then, because I'm a person who loves watching things grow, and I grow alongside them, that's like exciting to me. I love growing alongside my plants big time. And I feel like every plant that I grow teaches me something new. Every new genus that I grow teaches me something new about myself and about the plant. And that's exciting to me. So that's why I say, like, on the neurodivergent spectrum, because I am very much someone who really does like live and connect and grow alongside my plants. Like, they mean more to me than just this thing that I sell and make money. Yeah,
It's a connection there.
it is. It is big time. It's energy. But in tissue culture is one of those that I did the YouTube deep dive and got a lot of information from a lot of different sources to figure out a lot of different things. And then one day, Manny and I just dove right in. And he is probably more so, like, he's worse than I am when it comes to like going and doing deep dives, because I thought I was pretty bad. I thought I was one of those that like learns things differently than other people. And like, he goes beyond me. And that's so crazy to me because I, yeah. So he taught me a lot. We shared things about growing. We shared all these things. And then through that, we're able to like grow all these really amazing plants from tissue culture. But learning the process of multiplying plants and figuring out how to successfully do it while fighting things like contamination or reverted things or things that just die in general. You know, you learn a lot about what it means to have strong genes. Like, genetics matter when it comes to plants. And because the last few years have been so big on like these large growers like commercializing plant industry, they, a lot of it has become money driven, where they're trying to like take over the entire market.
Right.
And you see people regularly saying, "Oh, I'm going to go to Home Depot, or I'm going to go here, I'm going to go there." And there's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. I still will buy a plant if I see it and it like speaks to me at a Home Depot or Lowe's or Callaway's or any of the, you know, big box stores, nurseries. I will be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you know," and I will
Speaks
grab
to
it. I'm
you,
like,
got
"Come
it.
on, come on. We're going to take you home and
Go with
neglect you
Papa.
alongside your step siblings you haven't met yet."
One of those stepchildren.
Yeah. So, yeah. But yeah, so I am, tissue culture is something that has very much allowed me to build a collection that I love and am here for, in a way that made it more affordable. And then the process of creating tissue culture made it even better, because then not only was I able to grow my plant, I was able to share with other people. And like, my biggest goal, like locally, is to make sure that people here have access to things that they would have to import or get from these specialized sellers that will charge them a lot.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's slow growing, a lot of it is finicky, a lot of it is, there's a lot of different things. But what I have, I want to share. And so tissue culture is a way of doing that, and bringing me closer to community. Because plant community, I think in my adult life, is probably the first community that I really felt like I am where I'm supposed to be, amongst people who are all enjoying the same thing and experiencing the same thing, as opposed to just being there doing something just because it was something to do.
Yeah.
You know, like, if you are a plant person, you're probably there intentionally, and intention is something that's really big for me.
Well, that's beautiful, and there's a lot of pros in what you just said, right? And how teacher culture has kind of gave you something else to focus on and learn about and share with others. A lot of pros. contamination was one of the things I heard you say is a con. Could you go a little bit more into that and some of the cons in terms of what it takes to develop plants from tissue culture?
For sure. So with tissue culture, like you can take most parts of a plant and put it into we'll call it media. It's your growing media basically, and that media consists of hormones that promote cell generation or regeneration after cell division. So it will divide the cells, and then it will those will regenerate, and that's what causes the plants to multiply. Like that's the simplest way I can put it.
Yeah,
without,
keep
you
it
know,
simple,
like-
because
yeah,
right there,
yeah,
Okay.
like, you know what I mean. Like
I didn't get
yeah.
trap house
Yeah, right.
earlier. Okay, so
Yeah.
that right there.
No. Like I don't want to go like too far into that, but yeah, essentially the media causes cell division and cell regeneration, and that cell regeneration literally just provides the opportunity for things to multiply and keep growing. With that, it's a lab setting. So you have to have a sterile environment in order to do so. And with that, when you think about hormones that are literally designed to help things multiply and grow, that includes anything that touches it. So any kind of particle, like the smallest particle of dust or mold spore in the air, if it gets in that agar, in that media, it will promote that growth, and that will take over very, 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 very quickly. Like it can take a day, and all of a sudden your entire container is just like, wow.
It's moldy.
Dang.
Wow.
And so when you get contamination, that doesn't mean that everything is lost, but it does mean that now you have to take the time, make sure that you have a sterile environment so that you can go re-sterilize the plant tissue that you were putting in there to multiply, and then try to get it in there again and start the process. Not necessarily start over, but you are kind of starting over because now you're trying, like, okay, let's see if this is going to keep going. And sometimes you might fight sterilization throughout the entire process, and then when you finally get to the end, because I've had some that were doing well, and then all of a sudden I woke up one day and I was like, what's all this white foamy stuff on it? And it was just contamination. And so then I would change it out, and then a week later it would be there again, and I would change it out, re-sterilize, and then it would be there again. And I was just like, okay, so if this is how this is going to go, but you're not dying, we're going to multiply you just like this. Which is not necessarily the way you want to go about it.
Yeah.
But certain things I'm like, okay, I will just make sure that these grow nice and healthy before these ever leave like their controlled environment once we actually get them into acclimation. But some stuff just melts and it dies, and it basically becomes snot in a container.
So the ones that you said, even if you'll have them continue to grow, even though it has contamination, does that affect like the plant leaves or like how it grows?
So if you think about plants and how we spray fungicides, we do that. It's essentially the same thing. It's just that the growth rate of whatever fungus or mold or whatever it is, it's accelerated because it's in there with something that is designed to promote
Growth.
rapid growth, and so it grows at an accelerated pace. And basically, when you're re-sterilizing, that's the equivalent of us treating our plants, spraying our plants down with whatever fungicide that we might be spraying it with. But because it's in an enclosed environment with hormones, you run the risk of contamination no matter what.
Yeah.
Because if you think about being in any plant room, anything that has a soil substrate or just has moisture sitting in it is likely going to have some sort of bacteria or some, something that we can't see. Some bacteria is good, some bacteria is bad, but it's going to be there. Mold spores are going to be in the air as soon as we step outside.
Can't even see them in here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
we can't
true.
see them, but they can see us. You know what I mean? Like they will attach to whatever they can, and they're opportunistic, and their only job is to literally attach itself to something and then multiply. And so when you give them the ideal environment, they will absolutely do that. And it's up to you to be able to continue to treat it. So Like I literally it's not that it's happened a lot, but it has happened a couple of times where I literally basically just fought contamination through an entire way. And then there's two parts of the tissue culture process. So the first part, I say two. I'm simplifying it. So just so anybody,
Appreciate
just in
it.
case anybody, starts thinking like, oh, I can do that. It's more than two parts of the process, but the two major parts is the part where you're multiplying and then where you're rooting. Those are the two parts that probably take the longest. And so media formulas are different when you're doing those two parts of the process. And there are some that once it multiplied, I just had this clump of stuff and I separated it and I was like, you are not going into more media so that we can just sit here and watch you mold over and over again. And I would literally just put it in some sort of a substrate and see if it would root. And it was a gamble that has worked out for me sometimes.
Interesting.
So it's weird because they're plants,
Yeah.
they're clones of whatever plant you source. And so they will produce roots and they may grow at a slower pace up front because they're smaller, much smaller. They haven't had time to sit in the media and actually start to grow and kind of mature into a mature TC plantlet. So they're, I've had a few of those situations. But the biggest con would be contamination. And then the other biggest con, I think, is, when you go out of town, if you have pets or if you have, plants, you can say, hey, come water this plant.
Yeah.
Or, hey, come, I'm going to drop it off at the dog boarding or whatever. You can't do that with tissue culture because unless you have somebody who actually understands the sterile environment, if you're out of town and you get contamination and this might be a plant that you chopped up that cost you, I don't know, we're going to throw the hypothetical number of $500. If I chopped it up and I took the nodes that were available on that $500 plant and I put it in media so they could, create more, and then I'm out of town and it gets contaminated and I'm not home for another 3 days, it's possible that plant may go away.
Just that quick.
Just that quick. So it's just $500 just gone. And then whatever time you spent trying to get it to do whatever, it can literally go just like that. So that's one of the other cons of doing tissue culture.
This gives Planned Parenthood a whole different.
It really
sort of-
does.
It
Yeah.
does.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's so that's something. So that's the tissue culture pro and con. The pro is, I created more plants.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this plant is one of my favorites. So now I can grow all these out and see which one I want. And by one I mean like 10. And then I can grow the others and sell them. Because I need like 10 of everything.
I was gonna say, so how many plantlets, I guess, can you get from one? I don't know. Is it called like one tissue culture?
Yeah.
Or
It- wha-
from another
so
plant?
it depends. Every plant is different. So like philodendrons, some philodendrons can literally just create an entire cluster, and you might have 100 plants sitting there in a cluster that's no bigger than like the palm of my hand, and you're just like, whoa! And so you can continuously multiply it. That's why philodendron, when you go to the store, when you go to any big box stores, you'll see them and they all look alike. It's literally because they all grew in this
Exactly.
cluster. And then sometimes you'll see when you go, like if you see the smaller pink princess, that's a common one. You'll see that it has babies around the base.
Yes.
It's normally because it was grown in tissue culture, and when they separated it, they just separated whatever they could, and it may not have been a single shoot. There may have been other shoots in formation.
Yeah.
And so then they will continue to grow like that in the pot. And so you'll just have multiple plants that you can honestly separate and have more. So a lot of times when you see that, that's a thing. It's crazy because, we sit and because allocations are a big thing to me. We get the question a lot about whether it's corm grown or TC grown, and then there's all these myths around things that grow from tissue culture. But the reality is, I will put a corm in media from one of my mother plants, and watch that corm sprout. And then when it sprouts, it may create 20 plants.
What? From
Wait.
one corn?
How,
Yes. And so when people say corm, is that corm grown or tissue culture? I'm like, well, yes.
Yes and yes,
You know, like
right?
the answer is yes.
Interesting, yeah.
Because it was corn grown in tissue culture. You know?
Yeah.
So that's when people say that, it's always a thing that catches me off guard a bit because again, essentially it's just a way to speed up the multiplication. It's called micro propagation. Sorry, that's a lot of syllables that I can't say right now. But it literally just speeds up the process. It's no different than when we're, harvesting corms and when we're chopping a plant and rooting the cuttings, or we're chopping up and just rooting every node. It's the same thing. It's just a faster process of creating more, which sometimes you do get mutations that can cause any number of things. But if you're starting with strong genetics, a stable plant with strong genetics, strong features, strong everything, the chances of you producing more strong plants is pretty high. And they're not going to die on you. They're not just going to revert because they're tissue culture. They're just not going to do all these different things. And so one of the common misconceptions when it comes to variegated tissue culture plants is that they all revert. And the reality is that there can be, so if someone orders a large number of plants from a lab that is more focused on producing revenue for themselves and not sourcing a strong plant that is stable in genetics, or they might have gotten a mutation while it was in tissue culture, and that mutation is just that one of a kind. So then they're like, oh, we're going to create more of this one. If they take that first generation of multiplication and then they just sell it to people, well, it's not really stable genetics on that mutation. So if you think about when Tycons
I was going to say,
Yeah.
the Tycon
yeah,
one. Yeah.
remember when they first came out,
Yeah.
like if you looked at them wrong or if you watered them twice a year, it was going to die.
yeah.
Right.
Whereas now, listen, Tycons are out here, they are thugs. They will handle anything. The Tycons that you find right now, they will handle anything.
So that means that I probably have to throw the one that I got out because it was totally unstable. I mean, it looks, you see
Yeah.
it, right? And the ones that I'm seeing now in the shops are just
They are, yeah.
And they grow
It's true.
faster.
and they grow fast.
And the variegation
Yeah.
is more stable.
Yeah.
Like,
Because I have none
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah.
Like
It's so-
Which is
speckles
crazy.
of
Yeah.
white.
and when you think about how much they used to revert, whereas now, I don't hear anybody saying my Tycon reverted. I don't even think that it really exists, because that's like one of the most stable plants ever, but it took them producing generations of it in tissue culture to actually get stable to a point where people could consume them without them being a finicky plant, because monsteras by nature are not finicky plants. They find a tree to climb up
Oh,
Yeah.
And
They
in
thrive.
nature and they just go. And they could chop at the base, but because they're attached to this tree and they're epiphytes, they will just continue to grow, and their roots will find somewhere to go and find the moisture, and they'll pull it out of the air until they find nutrients in the ground that they can root into and feed from. So the thought of a finicky monstera is just crazy to me.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? This brings me to this, right? Because you mentioned Tycons. You mentioned even philodendrons, right? I have a philodendron green Congo nuclear. That it was a tissue culture plant.
Yeah.
Because to your point, I have all these little baby
bits, yeah.
shoots coming up.
Yeah.
And whatever. I paid a hell of a lot of money for that plant about maybe a year ago or so, right? And now I'm seeing bigger green nuclear Congos for like $30, right? So my question to you is, what does tissue culture, how does it impact the market and accessibility? Like what's the impact of that?
Tissue culture is a way that it's a thing that has absolutely made people. It's made the rare plants more accessible to a larger number of people. So people who are even just general hobbyists are now seeing things that were once rare And so when they see a grower like myself or someone who specializes in it, and they see a plant and they're like, oh, $100 for a plant? And, we're looking like, yeah, that's really cheap. Like in some cases, and it's
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
because of exactly what you're talking about. It's like, hey, I was able to get it down to $100 for you.
Right.
And I get that at $100 is not like some small amount of money, especially not in this day and age.
Yeah.
Cost of living is high, and so $100 is $100, and I will treat the person who buys the $20 plant the same that I would treat the person who buys the $750 plant. Like it's all the same to me because all of it is your hard-earned money.
Yeah.
But accessibility is different for every person. Tissue culture has made it so that accessibility is more of a it's something that people who probably couldn't, that would have thought $50 was a lot for a plant. It's made it so that they can talk about accessibility now the same way that the person who has expendable income, that they can spend whatever they want on plants and hobbies. Like the accessibility to them means something very different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tissue culture has definitely made that easier. It's made it a lot more, I think, enjoyable for a lot of people too, because I know even for myself, if I think back to just a year ago and I look at what I have now, me right now could have never imagined having some of the things that I have right now. And I know that tissue culture has made it possible for me. And there's some things that I'm like, no. Like I grew this from TC, but I'm not looking to like multiply this. This is mine.
This is-
Like this
yeah.
is my
Like your
baby.
personal
Like
baby.
yeah, I'm not.
Yep.
I'm not just looking to make money on this.
Yeah.
Like this is mine.
Yeah.
I have a few of those, and because not everything is about making money.
Yeah.
I monetized my hobby while also retaining my love for it, because I don't want it to become such a business thing that all I think about is in terms of business, because plants are personal for me. They are the thing, it always goes back to me growing alongside them. And if all of it is just business, my business is growing. But just because my business is growing doesn't mean that I'm growing. And I'm far more focused on my growth, because the business will grow as a result of my own growth.
Bingo.
Yeah.
So like if I can
It's
focus
hand
on
in
that
hand.
part, I'm happy about it.
I love that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So you do tissue culture and also imports and seeds.
So because I grow a lot of anthuriums, and anthurium genetic diversity is crazy. Like you can get an inflow from an anthurium that produces 500 seeds.
For the people who don't know, what's an inflow?
Inflow is that flower that looks suggestive that comes out of anthuriums, and that's the reproductive organ for anthurium. It's PG enough, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
Okay,
enough.
all right, cool.
Yeah.
Well, so anthuriums are intersex plants. So they start off in receiving or female phase, and then they transition to pollinate. So they'll produce their own pollen, and in some cases they will pollinate themselves
Themselves, yeah.
and create seeds on the very same organ that is just protruding from the plant.
It's amazing.
And
is.
so some are low yielders, and you may be lucky to get 10 to 15 seeds, and some are like, they are eager to be parents, and they will give you a
Their
lot.
libido is high.
Like, yes, they are eager. And then they give you all these seeds, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do with all this?
Thanks.
So, yeah. But I will grow things from seed because, again, I really love going from beginning to a place and understanding that journey just like continues. Like it doesn't stop just because now we have a mature plant. Like it still goes. And so growing from seed is definitely, it requires patience a lot, because growing from seed, and especially with certain plants, can be quite a slow process, and it can be months before you ever get like 3 little bitty leaves on on a plant, and you're like, oh my God, I think I can see what you look like. And you're just looking at this tray of stuff, and you're just like, oh, is that a vein? Is that oh, that's a piece of dust.
Oh.
You know, like, so
Yeah.
like you're just having that moment. But then there are some that are fast, and they are like seed to mature little something that you can see in like 3-4 months, you know?
Wow.
So,
That's amazing, and that's all due to consistency in the environment too, right?
yeah. I grow all of my seeds in trays, and those trays have domes on them, and they all get the same light, and they're on shelves, and they're in a place where they don't get super cold and super hot. There's usually not more than a 10-degree difference between lights on and lights off.
Are they in the greenhouse too?
Kinda. I mean, technically the trays.
That's the greenhouse.
Yeah, the tray kind of acts as the greenhouse, and I keep those on shelves
Okay.
because I don't have like it's space that I need in the greenhouse. Because if y'all saw my greenhouse,
I want to see it one day.
Yeah, I want to see it now
Yes.
that you. Yeah,
I want to see it too sometimes because you know what? Sometimes there's a lot of big plants in there right now, and sometimes excuse me, I'm so sorry. Like I'm bumping it, just moving stuff around.
Yeah.
It's a lot sometimes. I'm like, I know there were shelves under here somewhere, but right now it's just a jungle, and I kind of love it. And then when it comes around to watering and like pruning and like pest management, sometimes it can be a lot.
yeah,
Like a lot. And I'm like, who told me to do this?
yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, it's me. Like when people are like, oh, this is, start a business, they said, it'll be fun. They said, that's my other personality. Like it was me. It was just not me. It was the other me.
It was the other Ron.
Yeah. Well, the other few me's.
Where do you find the joy in that though?
Where do I find the joy?
Yeah, where do you know, because when it gets tedious like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, how do you remind yourself of the joy in what you're doing?
Yeah.
Because my life is so busy, it is actually the one time that I get to slow down and focus on this one thing in front of me.
Yeah.
And because that one thing in front of me is the thing that I enjoy and connect with, it's the equivalent of it's therapeutic. It's therapeutic for me. With plants, plants can go into survival mode real quick, just like we can.
Yeah.
We'll go into survival mode real quick. And the way to come out of survival mode and actually go into thriving is not by passively sitting to the side and watching things happen and waiting for something to happen. And it's a lesson that I take from my plants. I'm like, oh, you're in survival mode. Perhaps if I change something for you, feed you, water it, prune it, remove the dead, remove what doesn't serve it anymore when it no longer serves it, treat it for pests, remove those unwanted things, it'll start to thrive again. And if I had to pinpoint one lesson with plants, that is the lesson I've taken from growing plants. And having so many of them is that we as people, we go into survival mode very quickly. And in order to get out of it, we have to be intentional about how we manage, how we treat, how we feed, how we nourish ourselves and in order to get back into a point of thriving.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah. And there's like some people are like, dude, it's just plants. I've had people say it to me. I'm like, yeah, y'all, you have no idea. If that's how you feel about it, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for me, those are lessons I take from literally sitting in a tent and like pruning things, and I'm sitting there, and a lot of people see it as work, and I see it as therapy.
That's amazing.
Same. I can relate
Until
to
I
that.
get out of the tent and I have a pile of leaves and all this trash I have to take out, and then I'm like, okay, here comes the work.
Then it kicks in.
Right,
Okay.
then it kicks in. But while I'm in there,
It's like taking a diaper.
exactly.
For the baby.
While I'm in there, though, I love it. I love it.
That's funny.
So wait, so you mentioned anthuriums, right? And sort of using them as the seeds to sort of produce more anthuriums and different kinds of anthuriums. But you got to get them from somewhere, right? Typically. And so you import.
So I have imported seeds before. Now that
Okay.
I have my own mature plants,
Okay.
I am pollinating my own plants and breeding my own crops.
Got you.
Awesome.
Got
So
you.
I don't have anything out yet,
Okay.
but I'm excited to
Okay.
So
see.
we're gonna see like what is it? Species times species or like
Yeah.
something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
By
Literally
you?
that.
Like
Yes.
your own like Ronald times the
I mean, listen, I don't know if I'll have my name on it.
come on.
It would be really weird for me to be like, oh, take this Ronald.
Right.
Anthurium Ronald.
You know, like that'd be a little much. I don't think anybody needs all that in their house. You know, because if the plant is as extra as I am, I don't know if they can tolerate it. Because that plant is going to be a mess, but it is going to give them the most joy ever. Because I kid.
It came from you.
I know I kid, but
You
like
know?
I don't know that I would put my name on anything. It would be named something else for sure, because I am not the look at me person in a room.
You can
I'm
name
not-
it Janae or Nay.
I could.
Yeah.
Yes, I could.
The name.
You know what?
Okay.
The Anthurium name.
Yes.
and
I love it.
Yes, you know what? I like
Anthurium
it too. It just might be a thing.
So what's the benefits from seed grown and versus like clone plants? Like what's that?
So, essentially, I think it depends. So with anthuriums specifically, seeds give you the opportunity to keep a species alive, keep a plant alive, create something new. There's all sorts of reasons why people grow from seed as opposed to just going and getting a mature plant.
Yeah.
I love watching seeds grow, and I love watching seedlings morph into like mature form where you can actually see something, because as seedlings, all anthuriums pretty much look exactly the same. It's these two little leaves, and they all sprout looking exactly the same. And sometimes even once they finally like size up enough where you can put them in their own pot in real substrate and everything, they may still look alike, like look a lot alike for a while. And then when they actually start to show show the traits from, you know, whatever mother plant or whatever parent plant produced them, that's when it gets exciting. Because as it starts off as these little green sprouts that you can't really identify just by looking at it, all of a sudden you start to see this flat sinus, or you see this round something, or it's super dark, or you know, it's super narrow, or it's long and strappy, or you might get the mutation or it's variegated, or you know, there's all sorts of reasons why you grow from seed, because the possibilities are endless. And you sometimes just don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
You will
That's
pollinate
fun.
something, and then you'll see the seeds form, and then I can import seeds. I've imported inflows. Not the full inflow. They took the seeds off for me, because that would be kind of weird. I don't even know if it would survive the trip.
Yeah.
But I have imported seeds, but it was a process of there's one person I work with as an he pretty much, if it's not in his collection, he's in Indonesia, he will go and find it for me. But there are times when we will buy things together, and then we will do a video call where he will half the seeds, like we'll split them, and he will put them in a container and ship them to me. And so that's always really nice, because I don't think everybody has it like that, because not every person that contacts you on Instagram saying, hey, from Indonesia, I sell rare plants. I can't tell you how many of those messages I get
Yeah.
on a daily basis. But everybody gets them at some
Yeah.
point. But I found someone really good, really great. And so he has single-handedly helped me to build what I have now. And it has allowed me to comfortably enter an arena that I am to some degree still really intimidated to enter, because anthuriums and alocasias, the true collectors, they are serious
Yeah.
about their stuff and genetics and lineage and all these things. And I'm just like, no, I saw this pretty plant and I really wanted it.
Right.
So I approach that a little bit differently. I'm not as worried about lineage, and it's not that I don't have the respect for it or, that it's dumb. It's just not what I'm looking for. Like I want what I want because I saw it and I wanted it. And then I know what certain things produce. So then I get really like invested in, oh my, I really love that port, or I really love that this, or I really love that. I love the texture that these put out. I love the veins on this. So I look for those certain things in certain plants and I will get it. And like right now, I have a lot of stuff that I have gone and I have pollinated, and some things are forming berries on them. And I'm
What?
excited because I'm excited to see what it produces because I know what I like. And essentially, I'm growing it because I enjoy it. And I'm growing
That's
what I
what
like.
matters.
I'm not growing it with the idea, again, that goes back to this whole thing of commercializing things. I'm not growing it with this idea that, oh my God, if I do this, I'll make a lot of money.
Right,
Because
right.
if I do that, I think the joy will literally just kind of evaporate at some point, and you can't sustain that because you just can't.
You have good intentions with
Yeah. It's just
important.
me enjoying something and then creating something that I can then share with people. Yeah.
It's amazing.
That's good.
Yeah.
So do you have any current favorite, I guess, seedlings that you have right now that have started to show what they are?
Yes. So, my favorites right now for Anthurium people, they will know it's Black Venom.
That sounds dope.
I know,
It
right?
is. It is.
I'm
'Cause
assuming dark foliage.
it is dark. It is amazing. It is variegated. And then it's crossed with a Megatron.
I'm a Transformers guy.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
It sounds good.
Yeah, so it's a Black Venom crossed with a Megatron, and Megatrons get
Really
'cause,
big.
Yeah, Megatron.
Yeah, so it lives up to its name. But to get this dark and lovely variegated crossed with this large and bold and lovely, and you put those two things together, I'm so excited to see what actually comes of it
That
as they mature.
sounds beautiful.
But I have quite a few that are past just the sprout phase, and they're showing such beautiful color, and I'm like, I grew that.
You did that.
Isn't it so rewarding?
It is. It
like
is.
I literally grew that
Yeah.
from seed.
No, like
or
that.
even-
Yeah, that was me. I did.
Yeah.
That. Yeah. So that's always so cool.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
special.
If you can't tell, kind of lit up just because I can see that tray.
yeah.
I've given some away.
Well, can you put me on that list?
I know, right?
Yes, I can. Yes, y'all are like automatically on the
I got a
list.
cabinet now.
Huh?
You know
Yes,
what I'm saying?
Steve
This
has
is
that.
true.
I got a cabinet now.
Which
So I say that was.
I remember you like a couple weeks ago talking about the humidity in your cabinet with no humidifier. And I was like,
Yes.
I'm jealous because that can't happen in my house.
Yes.
So I'm a little mad about it, but also yes.
I know, right?
Yeah,
That's
I
awesome.
love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So
Well, let me ask you this. Just some industry insights since you are an industry guy now. How has it changed? How has the plant industry changed like recently?
big, I can't even call them big box growers, but those large commercial growers, they are doing a lot of things. The first name that comes to mind is the same one that comes to any plant collector's mind. It's Costa.
Casa.
Costa Farms is doing things, but Leaf Joy,
Leaf.
Yes.
by Proven Winners.
Proven
sorry.
Winners.
Well, Leaf Joy is Proven Winners, but they're doing amazing things. I applaud them. I do. The only thing, the downside to it is that a lot of times you don't know what they're going to release. You don't know what they're growing unless you're somebody with a know. And so because you don't know what they're growing, you may be working in your small lab at home
Doing the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But because they have this big commercial operation, they are doing the same thing, but on a much larger scale with the intent of providing it for $40 at Home Depot and Lowe's and Walmart and all these other places.
Costco.
Yeah, Costco.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's true.
And then when you're sitting there looking at your little container and you're like, I had such high hopes for y'all.
I
I mean,
do laugh, but
like
right.
I spent a good penny on y'all.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to sell just one of you so that
Yeah.
I could make that money back and get more plants. And now I got to sell all of y'all to make the money back that I paid for this one thing that produced you.
That's frustrating.
Yeah, it's a little frustrating. So that's the only, like, that's the downside. That's how things have changed. Those that tissue culture, again, going back to the accessibility thing.
Yeah.
That's what tissue culture has done for these large commercialized sellers and growers. They've been able to not only just like in their own operations, but also buy the nursery spaces from some of these other smaller growers and contract with them in a way where they're like, okay, you can't do business with anybody else now. You have to grow my stuff and my stuff only. And you can't sell to anybody else.
Wow.
Yeah, I had visited a little small nursery in, I had gone to Orlando. My partner lives in Orlando. And I had gone out to, I am blanking on the name right now, of there's a suburb that it is literally just like, I don't know what they call it. I don't call it Plant Alley. There's this greenhouses and greenhouses and more greenhouses.
Wow.
And so I had stopped at one of the greenhouses there, and I was speaking to one of the smaller sellers, and she's like, this person or this person, they approached me, but like I have friends that I've known for years that have grown for years, and we all had a little small nurseries here, and now we can't do that anymore, or they can't do that anymore because they contracted with, Costa or someone else, and because of that contract, they can't do the thing that they once loved because now it has been commercialized, and even for them, and they can no longer connect with people. And that was one of the things she said, because she also runs a bird rescue there. It's a sanctuary, and she was like, this is meant to fund this. And this also allows me face to face with people, and people can see what I'm doing here and buy into my cause. If I had contracted with them and I no longer had this, but I was just making some stable something, she's like, I don't think I would be fulfilled. And I totally like connected with that, because I was like, that's when the joy gets sucked out of it. But that's one of the ways the industry has changed, is that there are a lot of people who used to just grow for fun and who created nurseries based on them being like big time collectors who just loved growing plants, and then it became a business, whereas now it's all about money. It's about stocks in the company and providing dividends to shareholders. You know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah.
I feel like when those words enter something that's supposed to be a passion project for you, where do you go from there? Because you have to try to sustain something. And so I'm not mad at them for it, but it's definitely a change that I've noticed causes there are some problems that are side effects, basically. And basically what it is that some of us who are growing things that may look somewhat similar to something that was produced in tissue culture on a large scale and then sent to Home Depot, but we're like, but that's not the same.
Yeah.
And you have
But
to
then-
prove that. So
Yeah, so when I'm like slapping a $150 or $200 price tag on something because it is still on the rarer side and it still costs me money to produce, and it costs me time and resources and everything else to grow. When they're like, oh, I could get the same thing for $40, and I'm like, you can't. But I get why you think you can.
Yeah.
And maybe one day you will be able to, but right now that's not this.
It kind of reminds me of when that dock block hit.
Yes.
What was it, Home Depot or something like that?
Yeah,
think it was
even when
49.
Yeah, they did the Michelle, Doc Park Michelle, and people went crazy for it.
yeah.
I mean, crazy. People were going everywhere
Everywhere,
to
yeah.
find those.
Yeah, yeah. One depot after Home Depot
Yeah.
after another, just to see
Everywhere.
who had it,
In the plant groups online, people were like, hey, y'all, I saw 3 here, and this one looks like it was covered in spider mites, but it's still good. And they're like, hey, can you tell me to
Yes.
hold it? I'm like,
Was it?
I'm a part of the
did you
group.
hear what you just said?
Right.
But like they were serious about
Risking
it.
it all.
they
Yeah,
were.
yeah.
Risk the rest of their collection
Yes.
for
Yes, and I was like, no, but like, don't, but no. No. So, yeah, that's wild. It's wild to see anthuriums that big and beautiful because Michelle, Doc Blocks, they're still beautiful. I still love them. I still love Michelle's. I still love the Michelle hybrids. I still love everything about it. So it's not that it's a bad thing, but that's the way that it has changed the industry is that when something hits a big box store and it hits the big box store, because they weren't cheap. They were still like 100,
Yeah.
150, something like that. But people were going crazy over them. And there are times when we have things that are rare and that we could say are the same size as those, and we'll say 150, and people are like, that's a little much. And I'm like, but you bought the spider mite infested one at the big box store, and here I am like growing this thing with love and like in a
Yeah.
quality substrate,
And
it's like been treated for pests nonstop, and like, you know what I mean? Like it's
I get it.
and
Yeah.
so it's just one of those things where you're like,
See that for me,
True.
that has always been my thing, and this is no diss to big box.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
doing that. But that's why I shop. Small nursery.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I know that y'all work hard for this stuff.
Yeah.
Like you really take care of it. And so, my thing is, I get it. I get everybody, when you add profits and shareholders and all that stuff, in every sector of any industry,
Yeah.
mental health industry,
Yeah.
the plant industry, when you add a dollar amount that you have to make in order to keep that
Yeah.
business afloat,
Yes.
it does sap the joy.
It does. It does. It's crazy. I do landscaping for a living, so plants is like literally my whole life. But like shrubs and things that we use for landscaping plants, they're all made possible by tissue culture as well. But in that space, like people just want something that can go and grow.
Yeah.
It's very rare you see landscapers or the company owners being like, no, I need this level of variegation, or I need this. Like they're going to
Yeah.
get the thing that looks healthy.
Yeah.
So it's so weird how different the worlds are.
Yeah.
The it's less about a dollar amount and more so about providing this thing that's more on the utility side. It's useful. It serves its purpose. I think houseplants are they're for people like me, they're bred more with joy. They're living alongside me in my space. I am sharing the space with them. So if you're in my bedroom on a floating shelf and I'm sitting there looking at you and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
hi. Like it's.
I'm not the only one who waves at their plants.
I
Glad I'm
wave.
the only
I
one who
talk.
does that.
I will literally sit there and like grab it by the stem and be like, oh,
Yeah.
thank you for being here.
Yeah.
So like I just have these little moments here and there. I say here and there, it's all the time. But we're not gonna talk about it. We listen, we don't judge.
That's right.
Exactly.
Janae, so listen, I want Janae. You got some rapid fire questions for Ronald?
My goodness. We touched on this a little bit earlier, but what is your, I guess, in your personal collection, not the ones that you're growing from tissue or import, what is your current favorite plant? But it can't be alocasia or anthurium, since we know you love those.
Ooh.
Or don't tell me your own personal collections only.
No. Okay. No.
Allocations.
I can answer that question. So, can I though? Because now I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, oh, but there's
Picking
like two
your
of
favorite
you.
child.
There might be
Okay.
Yeah,
four.
come on, man.
It's
Can I
okay.
pick two?
Yes, because
Okay.
I couldn't.
Okay. Yeah, I think that way I won't make them feel.
No, exactly.
I won't tell them.
I could've
You
just
won't
been
tell
Hello
them.
when I get home.
They said, "Don't tell
They
me."
gonna tell by your energy.
Right. They'll know,
Okay.
and I'm like, I'm sorry.
They'll know
I
when you get
actually-
home.
Right.
They
When I
forced me-
actually
they
water
forced
them,
me to pick one.
Yeah. If I actually water them and they're like, you're acting weird, like they'll know. So, but no. So I am a big thematophyllum person. And that is something like around here, I don't see as many people who love thematophyllums the way
That's
that
true.
I do.
Yeah.
And I have one, it's more than one right now, but it's called a dragonfire. And it has sort of a similar leaf shape. The thing that most people would know would be the celomes. that people
Yeah.
get at big box stores. It has that sort of same leaf shape because it's kind of in the same family. But it's beautifully variegated. It's got this lime green on dark green. And that plant just gives me so much joy. So much joy. And then the other is it's a variegated palm. It's a Rhapis excelsia, I believe, is the scientific name for it. And I can't remember the common name for it. But it's a variegated one because I love variegated plants.
Okay.
Sorry.
You got a sauce.
Makes you
Listen,
happy,
some people be like, not everything needs to be variegated. I'm like,
but they're really pretty.
But yes, they do.
Really pretty.
who raised you? Who hurt you? Like, I don't know. I feel attacked. I'm going to go back to my variegated plants and talk
Okay.
to them because they don't judge me.
All right, so look, you just said variegated. What's an underrated plant people should try?
Underrated?
Yeah. Underrated / basic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. We're going to skip fiddle leaf fig because no.
Oh,
I feel like it's over.
Hell
absolutely
no.
not.
That's
Yeah.
a hell no.
When you
You saw my.
I'm right there with you. I go to these offices. I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic. ADHD, so sorry.
That's all right.
I go to these offices and they'll have these big, beautiful ones, and I'm like, but y'all don't even do anything to it. Like, yeah, I
Nothing.
kind of love this thing. And it's over here just like
Exactly.
dying.
They don't do
You
anything.
dropped every leaf, and now you're just a stick and some dirt.
Seriously.
Literally.
Looking
Get
at the
it.
sun like, and then we'll be like, oh no, I'm gonna recover and throw a couple of leaves, and then be like, psych. Who does that?
Janae, you got a story like that too, don't you?
Exactly.
A story like
First
that.
hand.
Yeah, I say that they're beautiful to look at. I really do love them. I will never own one. That's not the question you asked me though. Underrated. I know that there's an answer. You know what? Underrated. Staghorns.
Really?
Oh.
Okay.
Staghorn ferns. Any of them.
yeah.
Not variegated, non-variegated. Variegated are expensive. Let me tell you right now. Like I've seen some, and that's one of those that I do subscribe to. That not everything has to be variegated.
Okay.
They're beautiful on their own, and we just know them as staghorn. But Platycerium is like a very large genus of plants. There are so many, and Platycerium collectors are as crazy about theirs as Anthurium collectors. Like there are people that are dedicated to just growing them because they're super slow growing for the most part, and some of them you just look at it and you're like, how is that real? Like how's this thing just mounted over here? It's
Yeah.
like real.
They
Like,
do
that's
look
wild.
good. Yeah.
So I do think that they're underrated, and I have two right now that I'm trying my hand at, and I'm telling myself that I'm not going to get into another genus of plants that I have to make space for because these plants going to have to get a job soon.
Yeah,
Seriously,
help with the mortgage.
Right,
Okay.
because they are taking up a lot of space.
Yeah.
And who invited them?
You did.
I did.
It was you.
I did.
You.
I did.
You know, the man in the mirror.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, no, but I do think that's definitely the most underrated.
And what would you say, we're still in the first quarter of 2026, what's the most overrated plant right now, in your opinion?
I don't know if I have an overrated one. No. Okay, I can't say where my overrated plants are.
Why? Because you are going home to them later on?
No, because I can't say, and the reason why it is a Hoya is because they just vine, and they will put out a 4-foot vine, searching for a place to finally put out 2 little leaves. It will literally look like these cords,
Yeah.
Yes.
and
Yeah.
just like trailing over stuff, and like I had one just wrapped around the arm of a shelf. It was just going, and I was like, "Where? But where are you going?
Where are you going?
Like you are literally planted in dirt down there. Like where are you going?
Yeah.
And when are you going to give me something?
Yeah, give me some
something."
leaves.
And then it put out like 2 leaves.
Yeah.
But the space when I had to unfurl this, so I could move it. The space in between the last set of leaves and the new set of leaves It was like 5 feet. Why do
Oh
I
my
have 5 feet
goodness.
of cord? 5 feet. It was a switch. That's what it was.
That's
you know?
sweet.
So I
Yeah,
was like, no,
yeah.
no, we're not doing this. So
That's so funny because I just I have a Hoya video premiering tonight. All right. 'Cause I'm getting into them. Thanks to Shauna.
No, you
Thanks
are
to Shauna.
in.
you
You've
know
already
what? And here's
dived.
the thing, Shauna will do the allocations hate, so I'm hating on the Hoya.
Oh, there
Shout
you
out
go.
to Shauna though.
Shout out to
Shout out
Shauna.
to
We're
Shauna.
about
We
to-
love Shauna.
We do.
But, yeah,
Yeah,
gotta
but she
play
got me
for
into
hate.
them,
Yeah.
and I have a Clemenciorium that has not given me a new leaf for maybe a year and a half.
That long?
A year, that long, but gave me a nice little cord that I could take in.
Yeah, you can, like, or you can tie something up because they're strong. Like you can literally, like, it's shoestrings at this point. You know what I mean? Like they are tight, and I can tie it tight, and that will not break. So that's
Will
the
not
one-
go anywhere.
That's my compliment to them. They're strong. They are strong.
Ronald, man, listen, I really enjoyed this with you today, man.
This has been great.
This is good. Tell the listeners where they can find you.
I am on Trop. I'm on Trop House. I am on Trop House. You can find me on Instagram at trop.house. It is Trop House. And I am on Facebook as Ronald Wilson. You can regularly find me, especially in spring, summer, fall months, at local events because I normally do events.
Here in the DFW?
Here in the DFW area,
yeah.
yeah. And they're usually posted in the local groups, and I will normally post them on my Instagram as well. So, those are the places. And then I'm on Palm Street as well.
All
Okay, that's
So
what
on
it
Palm
is.
Street, I'm Trop House as well.
Okay.
And I'm excited because my first live is coming up.
What? Oh,
Yes.
yeah, I'm
What's
gonna be on
that
there.
date? Even though this is gonna premiere probably after.
This might premiere after, but it's February 22nd.
Okay.
And it's at 4 p.m.
Okay, so
Okay.
it'll already premiere before this
Yes.
comes out, but
Yes.
you're going to be solidly doing your thing after February 22nd.
Yeah.
I mean, I will still be doing my thing.
There we go.
I mean, because I'll book the next live based on how the first live goes and how
Okay.
much I sell and what I have left. And, you know, like I don't want to go too quick because I'm like, I need to make sure I have enough stuff to like sustain.
Sure.
Especially because I want to be able to bring some of that rare stuff that I'm selling because a lot of what I'm focusing on right now are variegated anthuriums. That is a lot of what I'm growing at the moment. And so I want to make sure I have enough to sell locally as well so that I'm not constantly like, ooh, I ain't got shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, sorry, I don't have anything right now.
Yeah.
Right. All right.
Yeah.
Well, this has been great, y'all.
Yeah, this really has. And one of the things I want to do before we leave, I want to shout out Anthony from Energy Gardens.
Yes,
for,
thank you,
like,
Anthony.
literally giving us the space to do this. He is an amazing
Yes.
dude out here in Deep
Yep.
Ellum. So
Yeah.
this is the shop, Energy Gardens Terrariums. If you're trying to build terrariums, you guys, this is
A
where
lot
you
of
come for that.
workshops.
He hosts events all the time.
Yep.
And Energy Gardens is the most fitting name ever.
It really
I
is.
can't say
Yes,
enough good things
it
about
is.
this man and his energy.
Yeah.
Like from the very first time I met him to now, he's just a genuine person who puts
Yeah.
out positive energy,
Yeah.
and you feel it when you walk in here because he has created this space
Yeah.
with pure love.
Love, yeah,
And you
yeah.
enjoy it as much as he enjoys it, and
Yeah.
I literally can't say anything.
And he wants to see all of us win.
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
He is the one that, like myself, I don't see competition.
Yeah.
I see fellow growers and
Yeah,
fellow human
fellowship.
beings who I can like share space with. We can all share space.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Man, this has been great. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
thank you. I appreciate you.
No, you know you're gonna have to come back.
Yes,
Yeah, no,
sure, for sure.
seriously, because we will have more seasons after
Yes.
this, so
I mean,
definitely
listen,
come
I'm
through.
trying to become a regular part of the cast.
You see what
Yes.
I'm saying? How,
No,
how about
for real.
that? You always have a mic and a chair
I'm
waiting
here
for
for
you.
it.
So
for
you just
real.
let us
Like,
know
I
when you're
will-
down.
I am trying to get more comfortable putting myself out there because I like connecting with people.
Yeah.
But I'm not someone who will put my face out there over and over and over again. So this is different for me.
Love that.
But I like it because y'all are good. Your energy in Energy Gardens right now
Okay.
is amazing and has made me feel comfortable. And thank you for allowing me to share a small part of my story and my journey right now. we may not have even touched on everything that you
That's
wanted
why you
know
have to
that
come
I
That's why
back.
you got to
wanted
come back.
Okay.
That's
yeah,
it.
You have to come back.
I'm grateful.
Thank
so
you.
thank you both.
Oh, thank
you
you.
so much. Thank you so much. So, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm Steve,
And I'm Janae.
and you're in the corner at Cultivation Corner. We'll see you next
See you in
time.
the next one.
Peace.
Bye.